Excellent. So, I know you came out here just for this.
That's right, exactly.
Vijay and I were talking like a week ago, and he said, I'm going to be in New York on Thursday. I'm like, great, come speak. And so that worked out. But I guess maybe if you want to introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about, I think there's a couple of different programs you're working on in the digital space, right? One is digital guidance, and then I think the other one that's Thinkorswim. Maybe if you can share.
Yeah, so for everybody's benefit, I run technology for TD Ameritrade. I've been in that role almost 2 years now. And when I got on board, I mean, one of the main things is that, we really needed to accelerate the pace of innovation on our digital platform. So one of the areas that, we were behind on was our Robo-Advisor platform. And so I am based out of Ann Arbor, Michigan. We got a small team together, really began to come up with some concepts, and within a 9-month period, we were actually able to bring our Robo-Advisor essential portfolios to market. So that was sort of leg one of our transformation. We also have, a dated, as many as you probably have, property for some of our web-based trading. And so we wanted something that was much more personalized, much more responsive. And we actually built a whole new chassis. And so I'm from the car industry. I used to be at Ford Motor Company prior to being at TD Ameritrade. So we're building a chassis, which is basically a platform that can be sort of the foundation for a whole new set of experiences as we go forward. And some of the most recent experiences that we've launched on Facebook Messenger, Twitter, as well as Apple Business Chat are also leveraging the services on that particular chassis. So that's a key part of our strategy as we go forward. I'm also responsible for our Thinkorswim platform, which is a little bit more sophisticated. And that's something that we're also figuring out how to abstract that with service orientation in order to leverage those capabilities across the entire platform.
Who would win in a fight, a Robo-Advisor or a Roomba? Is that a...
I'm pretty sure Roomba would win.
Okay. What is Thinkorswim? Can you tell us a little bit more?
Yeah, so Thinkorswim is our active trading platform. So it's for people who are really into options, derivatives, futures, Forex, want to do different types of options, straddles, butterfly, three-legged, four-legged, things that I don't even know a lot about sometimes.
The only thing I know about is like dark pool trading, and I don't even know what that is. So.
But year after year, it's been one of the top trader platforms in the industry.
So really the concept, I guess, is to maybe kind of enable the everyday trader to have the same access to things that otherwise an expert.
Yeah, we're really focused on bringing, may not be popular here, but Wall Street to Main Street.
Hold them accountable. They have
to. We're enabling a platform that allows a lot of people who want to, trade from their homes to be able to access those capabilities. So we have convenience store owners on that platform, and people who are chefs on that platform who want to do that.
So if I look at it, I guess maybe from a digital transformation perspective, you guys were the disruptors in many ways, right? So now that we're kind of in that context, what is digital transformation for you?
Yeah, I would really call it digital transformation kind of 2.0. So if you can think about digital transformation 1.0, which is really how do you sort of go mobile first, I think we're way beyond that, and it's really about being anywhere, anytime for your clients. So, people are using so many other platforms like Alexa and Facebook Messenger and Twitter, and they want to sometimes pick it up on their mobile device. And the ands will go on and on, whether it's inside of a vehicle, inside of your shower, on the radio. So you can just imagine how this world begins to evolve. So digital transformation 2.0 is all about creating those experiences for your clients where they want them, when they want them.
What happens when a robo-advisor goes rogue? Not necessarily in the context of actually attacks you, but if a robo-advisor makes bad advice, right? If I lose money tangibly, that's got to be an awkward conversation. What if it's something that was a mistake on the part of whatever that advice was versus kind of the actual platform or things in the background?
Yeah, well, I think you're thinking about that cybernet kind of situation, right? But right now, where we still are is, I would say it's much more of a hybrid model. So, the models that a robo uses to give the advice are always driven through models that are validated by a portfolio.
So it's basically, so it really becomes more of a way to help the portfolio manager just give advice faster.
Exactly.
So it's not actually really so independent and autonomous that it's kind of it's.
Yeah, I think once the models are set, a lot of us who are in financial services, the menial tasks of doing rebalancing, the menial tasks of often selecting, stocks based upon a different set of indicators or ETFs or things like that. A lot of that meniality is now enabled through automation, which is really, it's more of a robot. I think where you're thinking is, as we get to the next phase of artificial intelligence, as a virtual artificial assistant can kind of look at patterns and look at different conditions and be able to actually suggest, what kind of equities or what kind of options might be good in a particular situation. That's when you kind of get to that next level.
And depending upon who you talk to, the marketing all says that that's what that is, right? And so, that's why it's always good to kind of hear it from the source. I guess maybe, so how big is the organization today?
The technology organization is about 1,700 people, and the entire organization is about 10,000.
10,000, right? And you service how many customers?
We've got millions of accounts.
Okay.
So.
And so it sounds like, even if I think of the 17,000 people, I imagine, some portion of those are probably the portfolio managers, the advisors themselves. And it sounds like for you, digital transformation is really, allowing them, or being a digital enterprise is allowing them to do their job faster, right? And so that's where data comes into play.
We've got two models, right? One is a self-directed investor model, right? So you and I can go online and, we can buy and sell stocks like Amazon and Facebook. And what we're really trying to enable there is to do a lot more self-service. So how do we give people the analytics? How do we give people the insights? How do we give people the news? And we're using, AI and other technologies in the background to enable that. We also have a large registered investment advisor community that manage money for other people, and for them, it's a lot of that support. It's like, how do they see how they're doing against other advisors that are in the business? What are their analytics and performance? How do they integrate with third parties to manage their business? Because these guys are actually small business owners themselves, so you have to think about that broader API ecosystem that you're connecting with. So that's how we really think about our core businesses.
So let's talk about disruption for a second, because there are these new trading apps that are coming out that are, I think, less robust, but are targeting that kind of model and audience, right, down to the user, the kid who just got out of college, who's got a job at Starbucks, but at the same time, wants to put a couple bucks to the market.
Want to stash away money?
A stash, I think that's one of them, right?
Yes.
You just gave them a commercial, that's good for them. But no, there are these apps that are coming out, right?
Yeah.
So are they a threat? Are you guys looking or thinking about how to disrupt yourselves?
Absolutely. Every new idea that gets funded by a venture capital firm with a significant amount of investment is a threat for us, right? So we have to understand, what are they doing differently that we should be worried about, right? So I would say the ones that right now that we think a lot about are Robinhood, Betterment, Acorns, Stash.
Sure.
What are they doing,
Sure.
right? And I think if you look at the paradigm of what they're trying to do, simple interfaces, easy account opening processes, putting continued pressure around pricing. So those are the types of things that they're trying to do, is to disrupt some of those things. How do I save my extra money at the end of the day? So versus looking at specifically, the company itself, we kind of look at what are they trying to do and how do we incorporate those things into our products going forward. So I think as you go forward into this year, and our digital transformation 2.0 really begins to launch a lot of products quickly in our agile model, you're going to see a lot of elements of what they offer integrated into our existing platforms. And so it's more of a, we try to learn as much from them and continue to extend into other platforms. I actually think, by extending into platforms like Facebook Messenger and Apple Business Chat,
Sure.
You think about it, right? With Apple Business Chat now, you can go into your iMessage and say, log into TD Ameritrade directly on iMessage, and it'll ask you for your credentials, and then you log in and you can say, what's the price of Apple? And you could say, buy 100 shares of Apple, wow. And it kind of plays it back to you, and you say, would you like to do this? This would be the price. Or it might ask you, it's a limit order or a stop order or different things like that. It's almost like a conversational interface.
Well, and can you, so maybe a controversial question, but is Bitcoin is it tradable or buyable? The Bitcoin futures, I think, that came out.
Yes.
Is that all?
Yeah.
And what's your position on Bitcoin? Maybe personal, not necessarily TD Ameritrade.
Well, I'm a huge fan of blockchain,
Okay.
which is a new platform that enables us to do a lot of things much more efficiently. Right?
But wouldn't blockchain disintermediate you in some ways from being kind of the record holder on?
No, all of the firms who do trading have a lot of processes that we do to sort of reconcile that are very manual in nature. And I think blockchain can really help streamline a lot of those things. There's a central processing authority that all of us have to utilize, and we've been working with them to try to, streamline. But I think everybody wants to sort of streamline the processes so that, they're a lot more benefit to, our customers. There's a lot of capital requirements tied up because of long processing cycles and things like that that we could invest into other things. So actually, I'm a big proponent of blockchain. Bitcoin, on the other hand, Bitcoin's interesting, right? And I think it's kind of going to be like Betamax and VHS, right? I mean, I would say Bitcoin is like the Betamax of, cryptocurrency, right? And eventually somebody's going to come up with something better.
So you're saying I should buy Ether? Is that the...
Yeah, exactly. Maybe it's not Ether, right? But maybe, like
Just tell me what to buy.
The Chinese government wakes up and say they want to have their own cryptocurrency, right? So. That's probably what's going to happen.
That makes sense. So in the last couple of minutes, give us your big prediction for 2018 or for 2019. What do you think is going to change in your industry that's earth-shattering or is kind of on the horizon? And maybe what you think you can do to adjust and get ahead of it.
Well, one thing that we are squarely focused on is artificial intelligence. And I went to MIT and I got my degree in computer science back in the 90s. And I used to sit in the back classrooms with these pioneers in artificial intelligence talking about neural networks and expert systems. And I was like, WTF, right? Because, your computing power was like, a minutia of what it is today, right? So it's interesting. A lot of the algorithms haven't changed all that much, but what's really changed is the computing power has become incredibly massive, right? And so the things that you couldn't really do back in the mid-90s, you can do very easily now. And it's a marriage of really, sort of a rules-based layer and then a neural network that enable you to do this. So, for all of our sort of Q&A type of a functions, like if somebody wants to know like what's my account balance, or I want to transfer money between accounts, or where are my tax documents, or all of those kinds of things that typically you have to get a real agent online to talk to and navigate. I think that's going to be something that continues to accelerate in the next couple of years, where we have huge opportunities with things like AI. That will only continue to expound as we go forward. I would say the same, maybe lagging a little bit, as blockchain, because blockchain, still has like 20 different variants, lots of different companies. Consolidation is going to be ripe, and until some of the big guys really get into the middle of blockchain, you're still going to see a less reliable platform. So, being in my seat, those are the two biggest things that I'm really, focused on. That, along with our last speaker's focus around cybersecurity, it's like. Some years it feels like it's the malware and the bad guys, and this year seems like a data privacy year. So, it'll just ping pong back and forth.
Always an exciting time.
Yes, it is.
Well, good. I'll go buy some Ether. Thank you.
All right. Sounds good.
Appreciate it, Vijay. I'm glad this worked out. Thank you so much. Please.
Thanks very much.